Hey Echo, I'm Sheldon. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Samson. And Samson's thing was, he was very, very strong. He was like Superman of the Bible, superhuman strength. Um, one time he killed like 1,000 people with a donkey's jawbone. That's a lot of people. But I guess kind of the main thing that I kind of learned from Samson's story is that, even when we stray from God's path, eventually, we have the ability to bounce back and be stronger than ever. I guess a time that, I kind of fell off God's path and kind of did my own thing wasn't too long ago, around the start of quarantine during this whole COVID thing. I was posting on the internet about how proud I was of where I've come with my faith and my journey, and I was expecting a lot of positive feedback from that, but a lot of it was more negative, which kind of shocked me, being that I was posting it on like a Christian fan base area where Christians support other Christians, but I wasn't really getting support at all. It was a lot of negative stuff, and it just kind of shocked me. So it kind of made me think that maybe this whole God thing, maybe I should kind of go away. And it took me a while to realize that about some stuff, and I guess what helped me the most was I was hanging out with one of my friends one night, and we got in some heavy conversation, and we both helped each other out a lot that night, and he helped me realize that, these people on the internet, telling me, giving all this negative feedback on, how proud I am of where I'm at, I really shouldn't listen to them, because, they can't, they're strangers on the internet, giving me negative stuff. Just don't focus on it. Doesn't matter. So I stopped posting, and I'm back on God's path. I feel a lot better now. It's great. I've been doing better. And I guess Samson's story, is a lot more heavy than that. He strays a lot further, and, a lot further than I did. I kind of just bounced off a little bit, bounced back. But he goes way off the page. I guess, well, first I should mention that Samson got his strength from his hair. If he ever cut his hair, he would lose his strength. He would be as weak as just a normal man. But I guess where Samson's problems really started, I think, was around his first marriage. The first girl he married was a Philistine, and Philistines at the time, just really, they didn't believe in God, and they just weren't religious, and kind of didn't really want to do anything with that kind of thing. And Samson, he was a Nazarite, and Nazarites were kind of very religious, and really believed in God, and he was kind of raised religiously. And to him to fall in love with someone who just isn't religious and doesn't believe in a God that he truly believes in, kind of just doesn't seem like it should work, and it didn't. Samson's parents even warned him, like, hey son, you really shouldn't, get into this. It's not going to be good. You shouldn't marry this girl. But he insisted, and, I think that was God telling him, using his parents to tell him, like, hey, you're not supposed to marry this girl. Find someone else. And, but Samson married her, and at the 7-day feast, everything just kind of went wrong. She kind of betrayed him, and her family kind of betrayed him, and he wasn't too happy about it. He was angry and did some stuff, and then once he came back, and he was expecting to go to his wife's room and be with her, but they gave her to one of his companions, which is kind of like, that's frustrating. You go away because you're angry and you need a little time, and then come back, and then your wife that you've been married to for 7 days just was given to one of your companions. That's rough. But so he got even more angry, and he went out and he killed a lot of Philistines. I think that's when he killed 1,000 Philistines with a donkey's jawbone. And after that, the Philistines were like, yeah, this Samson guy, he's not a person we should be messing with. He's very, very strong. So Samson kind of took rule over the Philistines. The Philistines were in power at the time, and Samson kind of took over power. And so Samson ruled for about 20 years, and straying further and further from God's path, kind of every day as he went. At one time, he did some stuff with a prostitute. That's just not right. That's not very holy of him. So But later, he married a second girl. This girl was named Delilah. Now, Delilah, I guess her thing was that, I mean, she was definitely worse than the first girl that Samson married. Um, the Philistines came to Delilah and asked her, "We will give you lots and lots of money if you tell us the secret to Samson's strength." And I mean, she would have been rich if she did this. And I mean, she kind of took money over Samson. I mean, and that hurts. I would be hurt if someone chose money over me, you know. But I think they went back 3 times, Samson and Delilah. I think the first time it was, if you tie me with fresh new ropes, I'll be as weak as any other man. He broke free and destroyed the Philistines again. And then the second time, it was tied with 7 fresh bowstrings, and he will be as weak as any other man. Then he broke free of the bowstrings and was still powerful. The third time, it was tie his hair to the loom of the bed, and he broke free of that too, and destroyed the Philistines there too. And then the fourth time, Delilah was like, "Why will you not tell me the secret to your strength? How can you say you love me if you won't tell me the secret to your strength?" And I mean, that went on for like 4 days. She was just sobbing and, you know, kept nagging him about this until Samson was sick to death of it. He finally told her, "If you cut off my hair, I will be as weak as any other man." And she knew that it was the truth, and she wanted her money. So she went down to the Philistines and was like, "Okay, I figured it out. Come back this one last time." And in Samson's sleep, Delilah cut off all his hair, and she was like, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." And Samson tried to fight. I mean, but his strength was gone. His strength left him. And the Philistines captured him. They gouged his eyes out so he could no longer see. And he was put to work at a mill. I mean, that's kind of tough. I mean, that is rough. I mean, he's far off the path now. But he kind of bounces back, and then I'll mention my second point right now. I think, you know, the end of his life, you know, when he bounced back, I mean, what he does is so honorable, brave, and courageous. I mean, I was shocked. I mean, like, wow. I mean, that's got to take a lot of, you know, bravery and so courageous. But to finish, Samson, the Philistines took Samson and put him in like a stadium type area where all the Philistines were watching him, and they're like, he's been ruling for 20 years. And I mean, the Philistines did not like him, so it was nice to watch Samson finally be, you know, not in ruling and be captured. And Samson, he realized at that moment, he was like, "God, I've realized that I've strayed so far," and he prayed to God, "Give me strength one last time." And he put his hands on 2 pillars, and God gave him strength, and he pushed the 2 pillars over, collapsing the entire stadium on everyone, killing all the Philistines, the rest of them, including himself. He also died with them. But that's very brave and courageous and honorable. I think that is so honorable to be like, yeah, I mean, he got rid of the rest of the Philistines just by, you know, he realized. So in the last few seconds of his life, he knew his path, where it was headed, and I mean, he came back. I mean, comparing that to my story, I mean, he strayed a lot further than I did, I think, anyway. But I guess a time where I felt, you know, kind of, I guess, brave, courageous, not so, I mean, kind of honorable. I mean, I felt, you know, kind of honored to do this, but was on the mystery road trip, kind of, you know, giving back to the people in kind of the homeless community and packing food, and, you know, I felt honored doing that. You know, I'm proud of myself is kind of what went down, you know. But yeah, I guess just in conclusion, you know, it's kind of like Samson. I mean, he was very strong, and he was kind of strayed from his path, you know, and that's kind of rough. I mean, but he did bounce back at the end. Did that so brave and honorable to, you know, do that. I mean, like that's impressive. But yeah, well, that's about it, Echo. See you guys.